have a question. What is your favorite song and how do you connect with it? Is it when you fell in love or through something really difficult? I'm your host, Tiffany Mason. Now join me as I interview others and we take a walk down memory lane with them. Let's get lost in why that music matters to them. Turn up your radio and let's explore Memories with a Beat. Hello, podcast land. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Memories with a Beat. And today I have with me Elizabeth Bauman. Thank you so much for joining me, Elizabeth.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Yes, and Elizabeth kind of caught my attention because I was in Iowa. I was at my nephew's graduation and my sister's really good friend, her name is Tina, and she was saying, oh, this is my daughter. And she said Elizabeth. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love that name so much. So I love the name so much that that's my daughter's middle name. So you have a very beautiful name, Elizabeth.
Oh, thank you.
Well, if you wouldn't mind, Elizabeth, I mean, I don't even really know that much about you. So fill me in. What are you doing? Where are you at in life? What makes Elizabeth Elizabeth?
Yeah, I have a new last name. I got married in August. So
That's right.
yeah. So my husband and I actually live about an hour away from where we work. So right now I'm just kind of waiting on him to get off of work, but this is a perfect little time filler. But I work at a funeral home right now. I have worked previously in a school, and then before that I worked doing weddings. So I've kind of worked on every end of the spectrum, but I am 27 and we're just living our lives in Southern Iowa.
Yes, Iowa, corn country. I'll tell you what though, all joking aside, we live in Florida now and our corn here, oh, it's terrible compared to like when you grow up on Iowa corn.
Yeah. And it's sweet corn season here. So I'm looking forward to that.
I know. We do get some shipped down to us. Hannah and I were at the grocery store. We were opening them and she goes, Mommy, my hands smell so good. I said, I know, honey. It just makes me think of my childhood.
Yeah.
That fresh corn.
It's one of my favorites.
Me too. One of the other things I noticed moving down here is dairy is very expensive down here compared to like Iowa or Wisconsin, Illinois, because we've kind of lived in all those states. And coming down here, I was like, oh my gosh. So thank goodness they run sales on cheese very often. But
yeah, things you don't think of when you move.
Seriously. But I guess like you're so far from, dairyland that they have to take it a long distance. And I noticed sometimes like our watermelon seems like it was frozen maybe before it got to us, or sometimes fruit. Yeah. So I think in the colder months when it comes from other states and then it comes down to us, it must freeze in the semis. And so, yeah, every once in a while I'm like, I think this was frozen before it got to us.
Yeah. Things you don't think of. I remember I studied abroad in Spain when I was in college. And everybody had brought their own giant things of peanut butter. And I was like, why on earth? Because peanut butter was like 14 times higher there than it is in the States. And I lived without peanut butter for like a good 6 months. And it was
I don't know how you did it.
I know it was hard.
I just had a yummy peanut butter sandwich today. So it was a good little snack. I do too. Good source of protein. Okay. So I was going to ask you, you got married in August. Did you guys end up getting married in Iowa?
We did actually. We got married in the wedding venue. Well, we got married at the church that I grew up in, and then we had our reception at the wedding venue that I used to work at. So that was kind of nice, and I knew a bunch of people from working in the wedding industry. So people were so good to us, and we planned our wedding in like 2.5 months. So we and it was during COVID, so it was kind of a throw it all together, but it turned out really, really nicely, and everything was beautiful. And it was we were in between when our governor had shut things down and then opened it back up and then shut it down again. So we had it, everybody was able to come, and grandparents were able to be there, and it was really nice. So
that's awesome. So you went from weddings to schools to funeral home. How did you get to a funeral home? How does that happen?
I used to have like 5 part-time jobs. I was just kind of a part-timer, but I was constantly working everywhere. It seemed like I saw somebody the other day that said, I feel like I always see you wherever I am, you're working there. But I babysat actually for the family that I am now, for the guy I'm working for. I babysat his 2 girls. So he had a job opening and as the office manager at their funeral home. And I'd never considered working in this business, but I do like it. Like I said before, I was a substitute teacher. So moving, into a full-time job was kind of difficult actually, but I do love it a lot and working with families and, like I said, I was in the wedding industry. So going from like the best day of someone's life to maybe not the best
Oh,
day of someone's life, but it is kind of cool to be able to see that, not transition, I guess, but to be able to work with even some of the same families and just get to, kind of experience that with them and be there for them is nice. So
yeah. I always say the same thing about music though. Like that's what I mean, I say it all the time on this podcast, but I love in 3 minutes, you go from like having a baby and the baby's growing up and they're getting married and then you're saying goodbye to your spouse. And so
mhm.
it's kind of, I mean, you've kind of done that really. You went from their best day to now they're having kids to, you know, now
Yeah,
you're on the other end
yeah.
of the spectrum.
I know. And I would, not even know the couples and I would cry at their wedding. And now I'm crying at people's funerals and music is a big part of that because it's really, music is so emotional and it brings out
Mhm.
a lot of that emotion, even if you don't know it's there, it's hiding and it
Absolutely.
comes out. So
Yeah. Well, you're probably just a very sympathetic person as well. So you just care about others and just seeing them, so overjoyed. I mean, I cry at weddings on TV, so I get it, and funerals on TV. I mean,
hmm
something strikes your nerves and you just know that feeling of the best day. And you also know that feeling of attending a funeral. And it's not, you're
yeah.
celebrating that person's life, but you also just want them back so bad. So,
Yeah.
yep.
Right.
Yep, I can imagine that. Well, let's flip the switch and let's talk about the song that you picked for my audience. So if you would tell us what the song is and then maybe, your first connections to it, your first memories, or just how you connect with the lyrics even.
Yeah, I picked Who I Am by Jessica Andrews. And actually, this song came out. I had to look it up because I wasn't sure. I thought it was a late 90s, but it came out in November of 2000. So I'd have been 6 years old. And I don't know. My first memory of this song, because I connect with the lyrics, but I also just the memory of it. But
Mm-hmm.
I remember my mom, she had woken me up really early. So in Centerville, we celebrate Pancake Day.
I am not what you would call a graphics designer at all. But with Canva on my desktop, and I've even gotten brave enough to create on my phone, I am. I have impressed myself with the eye-catching content I have created, and I really love my podcast artwork. I love that my son and I sat on the laptop for about an hour playing with fonts, effects, and the backgrounds to collaborate the mother-son artwork of Memories with a Beat. Click on the link in the show notes to get started creating your custom content today. On that note, on with the show.
And so
What
we
is
have
this? What is this? My big sister talks about it. I don't know what it is. What is Pancake Day?
It's just a weird Centerville, Iowa tradition, but we love it here. So we have all day long, we have a big tent that serves free pancakes and we have parades and we have a pancake day queen and like live music. And actually I've been in charge a couple of years of setting up music in the tent with when people are flipping pancakes, you get to listen to music and as you're going through the line. So it's a fun day. It's always the last Saturday of the month. And actually they start to get ready. I mean, as soon as it's over, they get ready for the next year. So it should be really big this year since last year was, canceled. But they used to have karaoke contests. And so
Okay.
when I was little, my mom, I remember her waking me up on Pancake Day and like playing this song and saying, I think you can sing it. And I didn't at the time. I mean, I don't even remember singing before this moment, but I think this is kind of what did it for me because I realized, oh yeah, I kind of can sing. Like I can kind of sing that song. So I didn't actually end up singing that song, but it is just it's kind of a funny memory to have, I guess. And I associate it with Pancake Day, which is also kind of funny, which now happens to be like last year it landed on my husband's birthday. So we're
Aw.
just yeah. So it's a fun day, I guess. But I guess the lyrics,
Well,
I
really quick, what I was going to, while you're looking them over real quick, I was going to say, like how cool that your mom had so much faith in you and was so excited for you that she was like, hey, get up. You got to sing this song. I
I
think that's so
know.
cool.
I think it was like super early in the morning too, because I remember just kind of sitting in the living room thinking, why on earth would I do this? But she had me sing it like several times. And I asked her if she remembered it the other day, and she said, I don't remember that, but that's funny. Because my parents, I mean, I grew up and we always listened to music, and it was always, like 90s country.
Us too.
And I love it. It's the best. And
Mhm.
like, even before that, 70s country and 80s and Patsy Cline. And I'm kind of an old soul anyway. So that's my era. But I always, I mean, my parents thinking about 90s country kind of takes me to like my dad, and helping him, like, load square bales on a wagon and things like that. That's just what I associate with that, I guess. But it is, I mean, not that I started singing super young. I mean, I was in like Bible school and things, and I remember going crazy on the stage, and I mean, we have like home videos of it somewhere. But my mom and especially my grandma loved to hear me sing, and I've never been like, super good or anything, but they absolutely love it. And my dad, I used to sing in church a lot, and he would have his requests, and he's a pretty quiet guy. So, okay, I'll sing the song that Dad's asking me to sing. But yeah, it is cool. And they've always been they've encouraged me a lot through that. And actually, my mom signed me up in college. I was in band in college. I didn't even make it in choir. I went in on a vocal music scholarship, and then I didn't make it into the choir.
Funny.
So yeah. So I played band though, which I loved. I played the French horn, and we had a concert one Sunday, but she booked me a train. We took the train to Chicago so I could audition for The Voice. I didn't make it at all, but it was a fun experience. We took a mega bus all the way back and made it back just in time for me to play at my band concert. That's how much like she made that work so that we could be at and she sat for 6 hours in some building reading a book. I mean, she had nothing to do, but that's how much she believed in me, she's always been that way, which is another reason I picked this song, which is kind of cool because this might make me cry.
Aww.
But it's just it's a cool song.
It definitely is.
Yeah. And with my best friends, I guess now we sing it all the time. There's a karaoke bar it's outside of town that we used to go to every Saturday
Gordy's?
night. Not Gordy's, no. It's called the Red Barn, actually. It's over by the lake. But we used to go there every Saturday night, no matter what we were doing. We would drop everything and go to the Red Barn. And this was like our signature song, just because we could all relate to it. We all, we just loved it. And so the chorus goes, "I'm Rosemary's granddaughter, the spitting image of my father. And when the day is done, my mom is still my biggest fan."
Oh, I just got chills.
And I know I'm tearing up, but it is I mean, I have some notes I wrote down about all this, but I don't even think that matters. I'm trying to collect myself. There's one of my friends in particular. I don't know if you've ever, I mean, you probably have, because it's an amazing movie, but that song, with Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper, what's that movie called?
In the Shallows of Star is Born.
Yeah, Star is Born. Yes. And in that movie, when she does that,
because
of her. And
okay, so wait a minute. Really quick for audience at home, because we're not gonna have we won't have video.
That's right.
She did the finger from the forehead down to the chin, and if you guys have seen the movie, that's
Over
kind
her
of
nose.
that's kind of their signature thing in the movie.
Yeah. So we always, at that point in that song, the spitting image of my father, because a couple of my friends, we look like our dads, like crazy. So that was always our thing when we would run our fingers from our forehead to our chin. So
too bad you didn't trademark it. You could have made a lot of money.
I know, exactly. I know. Yeah, it's a fun song to sing, but it's fun that there's 5 of us that would go out there, and we would all just at the top of our lungs sing this song. And it would kind of be like, our ending, one of the last songs. We just all related to it so much. And it was so fun as a group to sing. But then I've heard the lyrics, I've, sung the lyrics, but I've never really sat down and like studied them, like I had before I started doing this. So it's cool because it starts out saying, "If I live to be 100 and never see the 7 wonders, that'll be all right. And if I don't make it to the big leagues, if I never win a Grammy, I'm going to be just fine, because I know who I am." And so I made it kind of my goal in college and then after college, to see as many places as I could. And for a while, I was like, I I studied abroad in Spain, and we went to a bunch of different countries there. And then I came back and I would just go to random states, or I went to Hawaii a couple times, and I've gone to, we went to Florida, and then I road tripped around Iceland with a couple of my college girlfriends. And we
Very
just have had,
cool.
we've seen really cool things. But when I think about like my favorite place to be, I don't think about any place that I've been. I think of my mom's front porch. So
Aw.
it is fun, if I'm done traveling now, if I never see another thing, I have good people around me. I know exactly who I am and where I'm going, and I have awesome friends, and they love me for who I am. And that's what, when it says sometimes I'm clueless and I'm clumsy, but I got friends that love me, that is, I can relate to that hard. So
Yeah. I kind of feel like this song encompasses what Iowa is. Like, I feel
yeah.
like we don't need all these big glamorous things, or we don't really have anything to prove to anybody. Just kind of, we are who we are. And I don't know, maybe I should say small town Iowa. I don't know. Maybe Des Moines has changed a little bit. I don't know. I haven't been there for a long time now, but I just feel like if I was to think of a song that kind of encompasses, small town Iowa, or maybe just really small town America, it's this song.
Yeah, that's funny because I did write some notes about this, and I have starred small town living. Like that's just what this
Absolutely.
song is all about. And I don't know if I had ever watched the video before, but I watched the video today actually. And it was just, I mean, early 2000s, it was super low budget, I think, but she was just like wandering around out in this garden in the backyard, and they made a video about it, like this was kind of I don't remember it, I guess, being huge, but I think it was a decent big, it was,
Yeah.
people still know it now. So
Yep.
obviously it did something, but I think, yeah, it's just, it is about small town and just being who you are. And I remember bringing a friend home from college one time, and I have horses. So we went out and we got the horses out, and we just went around town, and I hauled a stock trailer through the middle of town, and we rode horses, and she was just like, man, everyone is just okay with this. And I think she comes from a small town in Iowa too, but I don't think it's this small. We're about 6,000 here. And she was like, I can't get over it. And I remember that she was just saying, I can't get over how just okay everybody is. Like, you're just wearing your old jeans around, and nobody, you're comfortable with who you are, and you're fine with it. And yeah, that's kind of what this song is about too. So I guess not thinking about how much I've related to it in the past, I guess, but I definitely do.
Yeah. Subconsciously, you've connected on every level with the song for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you want, I'll put you on the spot. If you feel like singing anything, if you feel like you want to go crazy, and if you are like, that is way too much, I was not prepared, I totally understand that too.
Oh
So,
man.
I know,
Well,
I know.
Okay. I am Rosemary's granddaughter, the spitting image of my father. And when the day is done, my mama's still my biggest fan.
You didn't make it on The Voice?
I did not. I definitely did not. I was surrounded by all these people who were like
Yeah.
putting Listerine in their mouths and, warming up. And I was like, I don't know anything.
Wow. I think that was amazing. I would take you to The Voice too. Wow. I would have hit my button. Yeah. I've always just had an affinity for people who have a good voice.
I've always been, I kind of am a belter when I sing, I guess. So it is fun because, you're just kind of putting those like, yes, that is who I am. I know exactly who I am. I don't care what I've done. I don't care, the stupid, embarrassing things I've done before this. People still love me for who I am. And I need to be confident and strong in that, which sometimes is really hard, but
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Well, speaking of small town living, when we were in 6th grade, we moved from LeGrand, Iowa, which is tiny. It's smaller than Centerville, or maybe equal to Centerville now. And we went to Urbandale, which is, Jordan's Creek, Des Moines, all ritzy fancy, right? So we went from like, probably Wrangler or Walmart brand jeans or something. And then we show up at this school, and like everybody's like dressed to the nine, and they got their nails done, their hair done. I'm like, oh my gosh. But, yeah, that was quite the shock. But I think too, when people meet me, they're always like, Tiffany, you're so real. And I think it's from stuff like this, from this song, like, We just know that our family backs us. We know that we have friends that are like so tight knit that nothing's going to shake that friendship. And yeah, we may have fallen, but people still love us no matter who we are. And just knowing who you are, I think is so magnetic to people when you can put 2 feet on the ground and say, I'm proud of who I am.
Yeah. I mean, I've struggled on and off with that throughout my life. Like I have been super, super not confident, even, as early as I remember like junior high. My mom was a teacher at the junior high. So,
oh no.
and she was a coach. And so being, in the junior high at the time, like I never remember being embarrassed by my mom, but it was just the fact that like people didn't like me because of her, she was a pretty strict coach. And I mean, she pushed people a lot, but she was really good. So
yeah, she comes off as competitive to me. Yeah.
Yes, she does. And I'm kind of the opposite of that, but she was a volleyball, softball player and I ran cross country and I was not confident in myself back then. And then I remember going through a phase in college, even where I was like, I don't know, I'm lost. I don't know who I am. I don't know where I fit in. I don't know. And college was really, I was kind of depressed actually through college because that was really hard on me, but I came back. And actually this is kind of a cool day for me because I just closed on my house today that I bought.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So it's kind of the end of an era for me. It's been 6 years, I guess. I bought my house right out of college. I moved back home because I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. And so I moved back home and I bought a house like 3 miles down the road from my parents. And it's actually in a really tiny town. And it's mostly a retirement little residence. I mean, everyone, I was the youngest person there. I was the new kid on the block, literally. But I did a lot of growing and change. That house kind of taught me independence, but also, how important my family was, because there's no way I could have bought a house at 22 and not had my family close by, because my dad was my fix-it man and he mowed my yard, and my mom was my movie buddy. It was so nice being close. But I think that's really because people kind of doubted me, I think, when I moved back. And like I said, I had a bunch of part-time jobs. It's not like I, had money to buy a house, but they encouraged me in that. And, this is a good investment and this is what you need to do. So I think I had a lot of doubts, like, you're moving home, you're not trying to get, some big, job. Everyone in my class wanted to go to Des Moines and get a typical job. And I was like, that's just not for me. So I moved back home, and I think that was one of the best decisions I've ever made. Plus, cost of living here is about nothing. So going on trips then was like super easy. Working part-time and so I could go on trips whenever I wanted. Just, hey, when I'm substitute teaching, don't call me for the next 3 weeks because I'm going to be out of town. It made it nice, but. Oh.
Well, even your parents backing you on that was another, sign of them being your biggest cheerleader, but for them to really invest in you and say, no, you should do this because this is a good investment. I mean, investing in you for that investment for your future. So I think that was probably pretty awesome too, that they really supported you. I think that's normal. I didn't go to college, so I don't remember having that feeling, but my son is in college. He's almost 21 now. And he definitely went through that for probably a year, almost 2 years, where he just really was trying to figure it out. And he kept asking us. And I'm like, I don't even know how old I am. I think I'm 42. But I'm like, Preston, I still don't have it figured out. And I'm 40. I don't even know how old I am. So, yeah, I think that's normal to feel that way. But I think that's great that you were smart enough to know, like, no, I'm not going to go spend all this money on college and then end up with no job.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to say about this? Did you have any other notes on your paper there?
I suppose I had written down, actually, I was just trying to think of things. I had written down in kind of going along with the fact that my parents weren't super musical, but we always had music going. And I remember growing up we listened, like I said, to country music all the time. But when my little brother was a baby, my mom she recorded everything. She took pictures of everything. She recorded everything. She always had a video camera in front of her face, one of those giant ones you had to hold on your shoulder. And so we would dance all the time to Shania and to Reba, and we would reenact like all their music videos. And I remember reenacting Goodbye Earl one time when Brett got a little bit bigger. We rolled him up in a blanket in the middle of the living room and then tried to haul him, like they throw him down the hill. But we would do that a lot. And then I have videos of me dancing around him singing "It's All Right to Be a Little Bitty" by Ellen Jackson.
Oh,
When he was just a baby, he would laugh at me. He couldn't, he had no control over his own life at that point. He had to just go along with it.
yes. He was a good sport.
Yeah, he was at the time. He was like, 6 months old. He didn't have a choice, but
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you taking time out of your day. Thank you for sharing this song with me, my audience. Well, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a good evening.
yeah, you as well. Thanks for having me. This was so much fun.
Of course. And with that, that's going to be the last note of this episode. Hey guys, we're back just for a quick little note. So we kind of got onto a great conversation, and I just want to touch on it so you guys have maybe some food for thought for yourselves. She was saying how it was so easy for her to journal. And she was like, my mother journals so much, and it's something that I've always wanted to do or to get better at, but it's something I struggle with. So then, if you don't mind, Elizabeth, will you tell them what happened when you kind of started digging into this song a little bit?
Yeah, I just printed off the lyrics and I made them really small on one side of the page, and then I started writing notes about what I wanted to say. So, just notes about the lyrics or about memories that I have with this, and then just random memories because memories were bringing up other memories. And so I filled up a couple pages of just notes on this, and I thought, what a great way to journal. I mean, I've never been one to journal. I've tried. I've bought journals left and right, and they just sit unopened and unwritten in, because I've always looked up to my mom for that, because she is such a journaler and she has notebook after notebook. But I've just never been good at it. But this song kind of made me think, well, I could start journaling. I could do this if I just print out lyrics to a song and then start thinking of the memories. Like I told Tiffany that I was saying how memories bring up other memories, I guess. So it made it easy to just start writing about things, and even that when they didn't relate to this song, they related to a different one or just another time in my life. So it is, I think I can, journal this way. I think that'll be good. I just need to start finding a song and start writing about it or things relating to it.
Yeah, I agree. Memories do bring up other memories. It's so true. So, I don't know if you guys have a goal or ambition to be a journaler, or even if you want to write a book or something, and you just kind of want it to be about your life or about, some of your memories. I just thought it was such a genius idea. And she was just really sharing with me just off the cuff, this is what I did. And it was so easy for me. And, it was kind of fun for her. And so I just thought it was such a great idea to use lyrics of a song as a journal prompt. I hope that helps somebody. I hope somebody finds some fulfillment and enjoyment in journaling just from simply printing off some lyrics and then, letting the pen ink flow from there. Again, I hope you guys have a great afternoon. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Memories with a Beat. Well, that was fun, wasn't it? You never know what rabbit holes we'll get to go down and explore. Were you reminded of anything or anyone? Share what it was with me in a review. Honestly, the reviews don't do me any favors other than knowing people like you are listening to this podcast. Insert cheesy wink. However, the ratings do help, so leave me 5 stars. You know you wanna. This podcast was produced by Virtual You, supporting you in all things podcasting. To connect or check me out on social media, I know you're just gonna stalk me. But see the show notes, as always, for details. Can't wait to dive into my next guest's Memories with a Beat. Hit subscribe now. You don't want to miss the next episode.